Novak Djokovic played Kevin Anderson in the second round of Wimbledon 2021, and spoilers ahead, so click out in 3, 2, 1. If anyone wants a primer into how to beat Kevin Anderson on grass, countering Kevin Anderson's ridiculous serve and his impressive play from the baseline, watch this match. Novak Djokovic clinically breaks down Kevin Anderson's serve and very blatantly shows what variety is worth in grass. Novak Djokovic has a drop shot. Novak Djokovic can come to the net. Novak Djokovic is hopefully improving his overhead, which is hilariously bad compared to top 20. But Novak Djokovic also has a brilliant transition game. He has shot tolerance. He has a perfectly stable and very dangerous backhand. His forehand, he is redefining his forehand again by finding the cross-court forehand, which has gained him his second French Open. So that's just a few of the ingredients that Novak Djokovic has in his game. And then you have Kevin Anderson. Great serve, decent forehand, sometimes comes to the net. That is all. Kevin Anderson does not even have a very consistent rate of hitting the low balls back into play. And it's just geometrically a more difficult task if you're a tall tennis player to constantly come down to scoop the slices off and get them on the other side of the net while also producing some backspin on the ball and also directing it toward the place you want to direct it to. It's a bigger ask than someone who is less tall. Well, around 6 feet tall or 180, 185. That range has proven to be the most successful, how do you say, this is the most successful template for a tennis player. And if you're a tall tennis player, you're automatically required to be a great server. And to his credit, Kevin Anderson is a great server. But against Novak Djokovic, you just need more firepower, more ways to hurt the opponent. You have a good serve, and you have a dangerous second serve. You have a decent forehand, but you don't have a lot of variety in your game. Novak Djokovic is going to eat you for breakfast every day of the week if that is all you have. And Kevin Anderson just does not possess the game to beat Novak when Novak is playing like this. It was so clinical that I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I do not have the stats with me right now, but I think Novak did not miss a single forehand. He did not have a single forehand unforced error for a whole set of this 6-3, 6-3, 6-3 win over Anderson. It is mind blowing what this man is doing, and he continues to pad not just his statistics, but also his aura, his command over the rest of the tour. He is at the peak of his stature in the game at this present moment, and it's only going to continue to grow unless something completely unforeseen happens. But he is firing on all cylinders. You are watching Novak Djokovic not at the peak of his play per se, because he's still aging, he's way out of his prime, but he is, from a mental point of view and also from a motivation point of view, at the peak of his powers. And it is such a privilege to watch how he constructs a match. Even the first match against Jack Draper. First set, he lost. Big deal. He's falling on the grass. Big deal. It's the world number one. It's the 19-time Grand Slam champion. It's the only player in history to have won all four Grand Slams at least twice on three different surfaces. It's that player. It's the mental giant who somehow transmutates chance of someone else's name into his own. He thinks he's hearing his own name. Someone with that mental training. Winning even two sets against him is not a reason for panic. He has all the capability to find the level required to somehow engineer a path to victory. There's no panic in Novak Djokovic, and if you are talking about that player, you're talking of Novak Djokovic, and then you have Kevin Anderson, who does not have the tools required to harm Djokovic aside from a massive serve and a decent forehand. There's just no question about the result. But still, that's all a talk on paper. When it comes to execution, Novak Djokovic was near perfect. It was as close to a perfect match that you can have on grass against a big server. He neutralized the serve. Again, a credit to his immaculate, unprecedentedly good return of serve. Djokovic has the best return ever. It's just incredible. You cannot define how functionally important it is to his game. It is the central piece of his whole game. Because when you're a server, you hit the serve, that is the beginning of your point. For Djokovic, the return of serve completely often completely neutralizes that advantage that the server is supposed to have. He has redefined what this entire thing, this tennis match construction, tennis point construction, should mean for an ATP player, because you can aim for it, but executing the game plan is a completely different thing. Novak Djokovic has held that impressive return of serve for a decade, and he has not shown any signs of slowing down on that front. His return of serve continues to be immaculate, unrivaled. His serve, Novak Djokovic's serve itself, is more accurate than ever before, and he's serving faster than he usually does. From, I think, over the course of the last year, he's shown the best serving performances consistently, time after time. So it's scary good how he's stringing together this run after the end of his prime. He he outlasted, he outbattled a 21-year-old Tsitsipas not 2 weeks ago in the Roland Garros final, and that was after besting the greatest clay court player on his best surface. That is after that. Novak Djokovic beat Nadal, then he beat Tsitsipas, then he had a fun run to the doubles final in Mallorca on grass. He did not play the grass because his partner got injured, and now he's playing Wimbledon. And he's continuing these performances. We were talking about a year where the gap between Roland Garros and Wimbledon is 2 weeks, and he's still not showing any chinks in his armor. Nothing. The worst enemy you've seen, the biggest threat to Djokovic you've seen over the past two matches, over his last two matches, has been the grass. How many times he slipped. So it's going to be so difficult for anyone to knock Djokovic off his perch, and rightfully so. People are picking him to win the title. Of course, there is no one who has nearly enough notoriety currently in the game to pose a realistic threat to Djokovic. But that's why they play the matches, and that's why watching Wimbledon is so exciting. And it's so lucky for all of us to get to watch Wimbledon again, regardless of how slippery the courts have been. The grass has not been played on for 2 years. What do you expect? And these are professional tennis players. They know what to expect on grass. They to be fair, they have not played on grass themselves for a very long time, so the adjustment period is quite a bit. Add on top of that the fact that the roof, once you close it, the moisture in the air is trapped, and that also causes more slippery conditions on the grass. All of these combined, and you have a bit of an uncomfortable situation, which has also caused Serena Williams to withdraw from the tournament. Yes, that is very unfortunate, and you cannot wish that on your worst enemy, let alone the greatest champion in the current era of women's tennis, who Serena again is bucking the age trend, and she continues to be a threat at Grand Slams. Let's see how long she can keep it up, and I hope that she recovers very soon and returns to the tour. But just in general, Wimbledon is back, and I'm grateful. And let's see what the next rounds of Djokovic and Federer hold. I will be back with videos on those two and their respective matches. Hopefully both make it. Hopefully both have a very deep run in the tournament. Until next time, this is Duncan Lievi. Cheers.